Oh, kaya mo cuma tahu kami nganita mamu. Oh, gua sana lah nganita mamu. Nimbula, ayaw Mr. Ben.
Ella ba?
Na magikiro manolo kinedyo na bima taka moni chiki na fanga rumbuka.
Na Bula FM. Na madua ele shilling.
How would you like to spend your morning? You could spend your morning like this. Or you could spend it like this.
Tune in to the Morning Ride every weekday morning from 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. right here on Today FM, Today's Hit Music.
Tonight, poultry business faces uncertain future after being handed a stop work order. FMPF says no immediate investment prospects in PNG anymore. And Fiji Pine clears off $2 million loan owed to the government. Bulavanaka, I'm Jackie Spate and you're watching FBC News. A poultry business which opened in Nandi recently has been forced to kill thousands of chicks after a stop work notice from the Department of Environment. The problem has resulted in a loss of $85,000 and caused much frustration for the owners. Christopher Chand with this story.
Last Friday, more than 9,000 hatchlings were killed. Today, thousands more were being given out to local communities in Udiwai, Nandi.
We pulled out our first hatch of close to 14,000 chicks. And we tried as much as we could to retail them off. And we were forced to do a very cruel and very however humane thing. And we were forced to cull 9,742 chicks, to be exact.
Two tourism operators and some residents in the area complained against Toa Fiji's operations and obtained a stop work order, resulting in a major setback for the company.
We understand their concern and everything. However, there is a need for these protesters to be a little realistic. Pollution from the shed where these birds are concerned is not going to be as big as urea from sugarcane farm is.
The company held its groundbreaking ceremony last year and was scheduled to start supplying chickens to supermarkets by April this year. The owners say they have made an investment of over $6 million and are here to grow chickens, not kill them.
Right now, all we can say is we've got a room full of fertile eggs that can be sold out locally. Our breeder stock is sad to say, but it's going to be wasted, the first lot of breeder stock. We are basically selling chicks here for as cheap as $10 a dozen. You know, it's not making money for the company. It's not even getting anywhere near to what we've invested down there.
An increase in demand last year saw a major chicken shortage in supermarkets. This is where businesses like Toa Fiji can come in and ensure supply isn't interrupted. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
And Chris now joins us live from the West. Chris, can you tell us more about the situation with the Toa Fiji?
Thanks, Jackie. One of the backpacker resort operators in the area told us that the broiler shed, which is near the coast, has been built on land zoned as residential and tourism. Some residents in the area also have concerns about the shed, but for Toa Fiji, the shed is vital to continue their operations. That's where things stand at the moment, Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Christopher. Biosecurity Authority of Fiji last night intercepted foreign snails on a container which arrived at the Queen's Wharf in Suva last night. They suspect these snails are a new species. However, more surprisingly, two giant African snails were discovered on Sunday on another vessel. Mika Longa reports.
These snails that were intercepted by biosecurity officials with confirmation that this big one is the giant African snail. Two of these were discovered over the weekend on a container on board the vessel Southern Pearl, which arrived from Wallis and Fortuna.
The first interception of the snails was on Sunday night. More were discovered last night, and there's a possibility there's more of it in those containers that are coming out of the vessel.
This is where the snails are normally found. Officers were working last night and they've noticed that the snails were on the containers.
These small snails are suspected new species that arrived on board the Captain Tasman. They will be referred to the biosecurity entomologist for identification, and further studies will be done at the University of the South Pacific. These snails arrived on a container from Port Vila, the capital of Vanuatu, yesterday. Biosecurity officials are tonight keeping a close watch on the containers, on the lookout for more snails. A private company fumigated all the containers before they were offloaded onto Fijian soil. The Biosecurity Authority of Fiji isn't taking any chances.
As you can see, our officers are putting out snail baits in case if the snail escapes the wharf perimeter.
The containers from the two vessels remain at the Queen's Wharf, with BAF continuing to check for snails until the shipment is cleared from the wharf. Nikolonga, FBC News.
An investigation is underway into the discovery of a body of a man believed to be in his 20s. It was spotted at about 4 this afternoon by youths swimming in the Naselai waters in Nausori. Police say the body is now at the Wainimbokasi mortuary awaiting a post-mortem, and the deceased has been identified as a man reported missing by his brother last Friday. Fiji Pine Limited has made a remarkable turnaround by managing to pay off a loan it recently secured from government to clear 28-year-old debt. Vosita Kotewasawasa reports.
Giving back $2.4 million which Fiji Pine had borrowed to settle its debts. The loan from the European Investment Bank dated back to 1985. Fiji Pine Executive Chairman Fayaz Khan says that their recent financial performance has enabled them to hand the money back to the Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama.
Have endured a 18-month slump in the wood chip market. The whole of 2012 and half of 2013 was bad, and that was perhaps the reason we could not service this old debt. Having said that, we have been servicing without default more than $9 million of debt a year.
However, Fiji Pine still has a lot of work to do with just over $55 million in debt in its books. Upon receiving the check, Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama commended the company for the prompt payment. He went on to say that this turnaround is an indication of how successful their reforms has been.
We're all excited about the many projects that they're putting in place, but there's no doubt in my mind that we're going places with Fiji Pine. Of course, there'll be in some areas where they will need to improve. But I'm glad of the stories that is put across in the improvement of the welfare of this group of people in Fiji Pine.
Fiji Pine has revamped its nurseries and planting programs and is working on its plantations, factories and workforce. Khan says that clearance remains a priority for Fiji Pine and the burden has been brought under control with about $25 million paid off. The executive chair also pointed out that Fiji Pine has transformed its operations at the Wairiki chip mill in Boa and has tackled the corruption, mismanagement and outmoded work practices. Vosita Kotewasawasa, FBC News.
The Fiji National Provident Fund has indicated that there are no immediate prospects for investment in Papua New Guinea. This follows FNPF's announcement that it has withdrawn from a telecommunications deal involving PNG-based phone company B-Mobile. Chanel Sivan with the details.
FNPF was on the verge of a multi-million-dollar investment in PNG, only for things to fall through at the last minute. Chairman Ajit Kodagoda says as of now, they have no emerging interest in Papua New Guinea, despite early indications that the superannuation fund was in talks with the Independent Business Corporation.
At this stage, we have just said that we are open for discussion, but the earlier chapter is now firmly closed.
At the time when the deal was broken off, a number of staff from Vodafone Fiji had already been dispatched to B-Mobile in PNG. Kodagoda confirms some of them have decided to stay on in PNG, while those who came back home will have a place with Vodafone.
There are some people who were offered jobs in Papua New Guinea. They've elected to stay back. There were some people who were recruited from Vodafone overseas officers. They have gone back to their own jobs. Whoever has come back, if there are still opportunities at Vodafone, we will be taking them back.
Kodagoda gave no explanation why the deal was discontinued, saying he is unaware of some details. Shanal Shivan, FBC News.
Coming up, Prime Minister tells the people of Kandavu to read the Constitution and understand its contents.
Isambol binaka, nadango wadi soni dalai, nama kio mani wasini ngono borota kina lali ne kabi, maina tolu kina bitu, ena moni tingina por rombuka, ena Bula FM, na bandu ena serre.
Bula, I'm Wame. Join me every weekday from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on The Center Show with classic hits from the 70s as well as the 80s right here on Gold FM.
Welcome back. You're watching FBC News. A truck loaded with timber flipped onto its side in Suva this afternoon. When our cameras reached the scene, staff of RC Manubai had come in to clear Harris Road just outside the Queen's Wharf. The driver has been taken to the CWM hospital. FBC News has confirmed he was stable when pulled out of the truck and no one else was injured. The truck was turning a bend when it flipped over. Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama has urged the people of Kandavu to read the new constitution and understand its contents. He made the request while opening the Kandavu Provincial Council meeting in Suva this morning. Apisalome Doka reports.
Fiji must not be tied up in racial discrimination or be governed by purely based political ambitions which cause differences amongst people. The Prime Minister says this is where the new constitution changes the direction for Fiji.
Our constitution is not only to pave the way for the upcoming elections, it is a consultation that brings about changes and moves our country forward.
Bainimarama told the council members that the government will continue its reforms because there are still signs of corruption.
During a Talanoa session, Bainimarama was told that there is still some uncertainty amongst the people on the island because every time he's out of the country, things change.
I urge you to be firm. If you are talking about the Attorney General, why do most of us complain about the poor results of our own work and cast the blame on someone else?
The Prime Minister told the people all changes made by his ministers are his directives.
My ministers are implementing my plans. No one can change them overnight unless I endorse them. I monitor their commitment to work, and if they don't perform, I will get someone else from the Solomons, Japan or China. All I want is for every Fijian to be well looked after and served well.
The Kandavu Provincial Council will discuss its development projects and budget for next year. The meeting ends on Thursday. Apisalome Doka, FBC News.
People in Lambasa are in a festive mood as the Vodafone Festival of the Friendly North continues. Despite a wet start, stall owners and ride operators are confident of a good turnout. With good weather in Lambasa, people are flocking to Sobrail Park to enjoy the fun-filled activities, the food and of course the rides.
When I see the crowd like before, the crowd are slowly going up, grow up slow. But I'm sure the crowd is good.
So far, it's been a privilege for us. The weather is good. We've been expecting more customers as the days goes by. There's more. We're expecting more.
Business operators are hoping the good turnout means higher profits. Fiji is on track to achieving 5 of the 8 Millennium Development Goals by 2015. The 3 targets unlikely to be reached are poverty alleviation, gender equality and reducing HIV and AIDS infections. Ritika Pratap has more from the Ministry of Finance Donor and Development Partners Forum.
The last household income and expenditure survey shows that between 2002 to 2008, poverty levels dropped from 35% to 31%. However, rural poverty has increased from 41 to 43%.
The agriculture sector, a number of programs trying to look at improving health service and education, because all these try and support the capacity of the rural population to participate in productive economic activities.
With regards to gender equality, parity has been achieved in primary and secondary education. However, women still don't get fair pay.
Because while we have parity in primary and secondary, when it goes to tertiary, more males move up to tertiary than females. There are social issues involved where females drop out, so just trying to address that parity so that more qualified females can come out of the workforce so that they can be improved, they can add to the numbers of workers available.
The major challenge for Fiji is the increasing number of HIV and AIDS, But we do now have access to antiretroviral drugs.
People are more bold now to come forward and get tested, but that has been the focus of campaigns in the past decade, trying to reduce that stigma. So now we're trying to more emphasize on trying to manage the spread that are increasing among the youth.
Ovini Raruru says in the past, donor countries came up with large globalized targets, which were sometimes not suited to Fiji. The focus is now on strategic approaches that target specific areas in order to achieve MDGs. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
Sports time now. Jamie, what do you have for us?
Well, a bit of everything really, Jackie. We have rugby's Fair Brother Trophy Challenge, volleyball at the Pacific Mini Games, the under-20s fastest man, under-20 netball wins in Scotland, the Pacific's fastest man, trials for the Fiji Mbati residents, and Segri School's basketball. I got a bit jumbled up there. I was excited. So many sports tonight, Jackie.
Well, you really did mean everything, didn't you?
That's FBC Sports for you, Jackie, and you can find out more after the break.
नमस्ते दोस्तों, मिर्ची रफ्तार से मैं अश्निल सिंह। शामिल हो जाइए हमारे साथ मंडे टू फ्राइडे फ्रॉम 3 to 7 PM।
Nimbula, methangu nimilote na isorotumboa. Nama kia umina rua kina ona na via kavi moniti kina wakarambuka. Rongo mena via sama kina via baka barota kini nreko malolo. Ena radio Fiji One na wongani pia uniano. Ngai nama kia kina.
Welcome back to FBC Sports. First up tonight, the Suva rugby side is bent on not repeating history when it meets Lautoka in the Fair Brother Trophy Challenge this Saturday. The title holders lost to Lautoka earlier this year in the Digicel Cup and in the process broke its winning streak at the start of the season. And to make things tougher, Suva is up against a Vanua-based team. Indra Singh has more.
It all boils down to guts, determination and passion during the Fair Brother Challenges. However, there is another aspect which Suva knows too well, which will fire up Lautoka in their quest for the ultimate rugby possession of the country.
You know, Fair Brother is a different thing altogether from Digicel. It's a tradition thing, of course, for the provincial teams.
Suva also clearly remembers the loss to the Maroons earlier this season. It was Lautoka which ended Suva's unbeaten run in the Digicel Cup earlier in the round-robin stages.
They won from us the last time, and we know that. We won, and they'll be coming hard on us.
The capital side does not want to let go of the trophy, which is dear to all provincial teams in the country.
So it's a one-off game for them. So I think it's easier to, come and challenge and harder to defend the trophy.
Entrenched in the Suva players' hearts is the loss against Lautoka, coupled with the demise in the Digicel Cup final against Nandronga last weekend. But a first-up successful defence will lay the platform for the remainder of the 7 challenges. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
For the Fiji women's volleyball team to the Pacific Mini Games, getting gold in Wallace and Fortuna will be just a bonus as the coaching team tries out a new combination. With some seasoned and new players thrown into the mix, the coach is hoping that the new style of play adopted will turn a few heads. Shalvin Chand has more.
The women's team will be the only team from Fiji competing in indoor volleyball. They are focused and they don't mind making it to training at 5 in the morning.
Staff working on our offensive system, combinations and so forth, also our defense. So for just the rest of the day, we have today we have another training session in the evening. We have one training session on Wednesday and the last one on Thursday. So the team is just pretty much brushing up on just the team systems, that's all.
The team has already had a feel of what things are going to be like in Wallace and Fortuna.
We were fortunate in April this year that we had a team from Wallace Fortuna come over and we played a 3-test match. That's where we threw them in just to get a feel of how teams would fare
The youngest member of the team is still in high school. A plan has been devised how to rotate players for each game.
I experienced players and first and slowly introduce the new caps into the team, probably later on in the game. Well, depending also on what teams we face.
The mini games will be a stepping stone for the volleyball team. The bigger aim is to win a gold in the 2015 Pacific Games. Shalvin Chan, FBC Sports.
The fastest man in the Pacific, Banuve Tambakaudoro, will be celebrating his 21st birthday at the Pacific Mini Games in Wallace and Futuna. Banuve was given a small but meaningful farewell by sponsors Digicel. The national sprinter, dubbed the Mbao Bullet, is looking to win 3 gold medals in the 100 and 200 meter sprints and the 4x100 meter relay. Banuve hopes to land a special golden birthday celebration as he turns 21 next Wednesday. Also farewelled was Charlotte Taylor, who will compete in sailing at the Mini Games. A convincing 82-20 win over Israel has placed the Fiji under-21 netball team in 3rd place of their pool at the World Youth Championship in Glasgow, Scotland. Fiji dominated the match to lead 43-12 at halftime. They now have the chance to finish off in 9th position at the end of the championship if they win their next 3 playoff matches. To get there, they must next beat Ireland early Friday. And trials were held today for the Fiji Mbati residence squad to compete in the Battle of the Mbati next month. Players were selected from the Vodafone Cup Top 8 competition to contest for spots in the Mbati residence side. Tsalenda Vakavaka reports.
34 players turned out today in the Fiji Mbati residence trials. It was no place for players to hold anything back, as was evident in the intensity of the trial match.
There was about 17 players from each team, about 34 players that attend the trials today. This is this is a core of a players that we selected from the Vodafone Cup and the Top 8 competition. It was held this year.
With majority of the players today coming from the Eastern Division, the Vodafone Cup Grand Final served as the trials for players in the Western Division.
From the West, they're having their trials last week for the Grand Final, Saru and Sembeto. Their trial was last week in the Grand Final, so we managed to select some of the players from that Grand Final.
A holistic approach by the coach and players alike as they attempt to repeat and maybe even improve their performance from the last World Cup. The work being put in sure does show our Warriors will be no pushover. Tsalendo Vakavaka, FBC Sports.
Top schools continue to impress fans at the Tucker's Ice Cream Secondary School basketball competition in Suva. In the under-19 grade, Yetsen, Mars Brothers, Latter-day Saints and Andi Thakambao School all look set to battle for the title in the boys and girls grades. Competition also is being played in the under-15 and under-17 grades. And that's it from Sports Tonight. Good evening.
RB Patel Group has today dispatched the final dividend payment for shareholders at 10 cents per share. This brings the total dividend to 14 cents per share. In a statement to the South Pacific Stock Exchange, RB Patel says this is the 6th consecutive year that the company has maintained its dividend payment. Gross revenue for the last financial year increased from $93 million to $100 million. A net profit of $6.3 million is also a 12% improvement from the previous financial year. Weather time now. Welcome back, Jen. Looking a little sunburned today.
Well, we've got last week to thank for that, Jackie, but at least it was worth it. Back to weather, it's clear that no one in Suva was in danger of getting sunburned today. The capital experienced showers in the morning and clouds in the afternoon. It was basically fine for the other centers. Mombasa was fairly hot today at 32 degrees. Suva and Savasavu were cooler on 25 and 27 respectively. The country is set to enjoy generally sunny conditions tomorrow, especially for Nandi, Lautoka, Ba and Lambasa. Bear in mind, though, that a strong wind warning remains in force for most of Fiji's waters. Now, we've received photos from people of all walks of life on weather. And today, it's Fiji hockey's Ty Smith who captured these magnificent mountains in Levuka. And aren't we thankful that she emailed it across? In fact, if you look at it closely, Jackie, it sort of resembles the sleeping giant in Nandi.
Thanks so much for that, Genevieve. The headlines once again: stop work order threatens the future of a poultry business in Nandi. Giant snails intercepted on 2 vessels at the Queen's Wharf in Suva, and Prime Minister Vorengem Bainimarama tells the people of Kandavo to read and understand the contents of the Constitution. To the poll question for this week, and we're asking, do you agree with Fiji FA's decision to allow Fijians only to play in events? Have your say by logging onto our website www.fbc.com.fj. Remember to send us newsworthy pictures and videos. Email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj. That's news tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, Modamamba.
जहाँ हो प्यार का बसेरा और रिश्तों की खुशबू, वो है आपका अपना घर संसार. Join me on Ghar Sansar, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. till 12 p.m. only on Radio Fiji 2.
Hope you're enjoying the music right now on Gold FM. Only the classic hits, especially if you're spending your time at home or around the office. I certainly hope you're taking it easy and enjoying the music coming your way. Well, I got a whole lot more to keep you moving and to keep you going right up until you reach knock-off time. I'm Kara. Join me every weekday from 2 to 7 on The Ride, only on Gold FM.